subscribe on your smart TV, YouTube at WCEG Network. I'm Wardell Richardson, your show host right here on WCEGWood, the Hollywood of the South, for the next 2 hours. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. That's WCEG_talk_radio. And at WCEG Network. That's WCEG Network. Last but not least, the topic and opinion are those of the show hosts and guests and not those of WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support. I am Wardell Richardson, your show host right here on another episode of Relationships. You know, it's Valentine's Day. Well, Valentine's Day has passed, but this is the month of Valentine's. So it's the month of love, you know what I mean? And I wanted to do something special for WCEG, and that is do a relationship panel. So my first 2 panels were successful, and now I'm on the last one for the month of February. So I had, bring the heat, you know what I mean? So with that being said, before I get to them, I just want to say, listen, it's getting hot outside. It's a beautiful day right here in Georgia. But please, still wear your mask, folks. Still wear your mask. And my brothers, this is the best time to wear your mask. You know what I'm saying? If you're having troubles, with the grill or whatever, they won't even see it. You can just put the mask on and just be talking away, man, and your game is on point. Just make sure you don't take that mask off until the feelings have been had. Now, I'm just playing. but you know what I'm saying? Wear your mask. Protect yourself and protect other people. It is still an epidemic out here. Atlanta is wide open. Georgia as a whole is just wide open. Everybody's doing whatever. People don't wear masks as they supposed to. But please, I ask you to wear your mask. Protect yourself. Protect other people. You just don't know. And this thing, I had the virus and I didn't even know I had it. I just went to take the test and was positive. So, and I'm sitting there like, what? I had to go take it again. I was positive, but I had no side effects whatsoever. I didn't have no headache. I didn't have no loss of taste or smell. I was good. So it was like a 14-day vacation for me. But everybody else don't have the same results. So please be careful out there. It's crazy, but it is going on right now. And if you have not seen any of my work, please go on Amazon Prime and check me out. I have 4 movies airing right now on Amazon Prime, and they are doing very well. I'm starring in all 4 of them. I'm one of the stars in all 4 of them, and I produced two of the 4. So when you get a chance, go check me out. Just pull up my name, and my movies will pop up. I love acting. I love producing. I love everything that has to do with film. So anyone who know me know I stay busy. I don't put it all out there, but I stay busy. And now, without another second wasted, once again, I say this is the month of Valentine, the month of love. This is the final segment of Love and Relationships. And this is based around, are relationships hard? Or do we make them hard? I get that question a lot. A lot of people say, man, relationships just so hard. I'm like, okay, well, is it hard or are you making it hard? And I think a lot of people say that because they feel like they're good people and they don't understand why things aren't turning out the way that they're turning out. But guess what? Things sometimes just don't go the right way. That's just not the right person. You can be the greatest person in the world, but it just ain't for you. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest because I got an awesome group of people here today, and I can't wait to get all into this. The first person I'm bringing to you is my good friend, Charlie Brown. What's going on?
Hi, everybody. I am so glad to be a part of this. I really am. I am looking forward to giving my input. Thank you so much. And meeting you guys is also very awesome. Made some quick friends because of this wonderful opportunity. But yeah, I'm Charlotte. My nickname is Charlie. My father was named Charlie. And I am a writer, photographer, singer, songwriter, and I like to do all things writing. And I especially love the topic of relationships because I'm actually in one. And I actually enjoy all my relationships, friendships, family, friends, whatever. Acquaintances, whatever. And so the opportunity to talk about relationships in terms of men and women and how we interact together and stuff is just really exciting to me tonight. So yeah, that's me.
Well, Charlie, one of the reasons I brought you on, me and you talked a few times on the phone, and one time we got deep into the relationship topic.
Yes.
And we touched on some really great information. And I was just like, oh, okay, I got to bring you on because this is just the things we talked about was so deep, and we wound up being on the phone for like a couple of hours or so, right?
I'm thinking so. Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah. So I definitely want to bring you on. You have a lot of insight. I mean, you've been married for how long?
28 years.
28 years. Yeah. Woo! Boy, that's a journey, boy. That people only wish of being married that long. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So you could definitely I'm sure you do. I am sure you do. And we're gonna come back to Charlie a little bit later. Next, I want to bring up my good friend Aphrodite, the model. What is going on?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
I had to bring you on. Before we even get started, explain to people what Aphrodite means.
I am the goddess of love. Well, the reincarnated version of it. To know me is to love me. And so therefore that name was given to me because I mirror the goddess of love.
Now give us a little bit of who you are. Where you from? And I know you're not here in Georgia, but a little bit of your history.
Yes, I'm a Georgia native. And I'm a cover model, actress, and poet, and I guess poetry and motivational. And I just love everything. Like I put everything into everything. People, writing, music, you name it, I got a finger in it.
Yeah, you really do some of everything. You're an actress as well. I've seen you in music videos, you actress, you done, I mean, you cover, man, you do it all. You do it all. So how do you manage? Because now, how do you manage? Because you're a mother, you have major responsibility. How are you able to manage all the jobs you
have? I seek balance on everything that I do. And I meditate a lot. And I think that has a lot to do with a lot of everything in my life. Knowing negative energy, so I don't take too much time into that. So I have time to put it in energies and other things. It's just a natural flow for me. I guess it's hard to explain when it's natural. I just do it. I don't think about it. I just do it.
All right then. And I appreciate you making the time to come on the show. Michelangelo.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? The filmmaker, man. Man, you got some things we've been working on. I ain't trying to give it away unless you want to give it away. But we got some stuff that's about to pop off, right?
Yeah, bro. I'm Michelangelo. I'm out here in LA right now. This is where I live. I'm a filmmaker, actor, writer, and director as well. I'm a scientist by trade. So science is my area. I've been in the filmmaking business for at least about 12 years. Have a couple of movies out. If you want to know more about my movie company and me as well, you can always Google Mangelo Productions Network. That's MANGELO Productions Network.com. And you can get more intimate information about my company and myself as well. And I do have something that we're working on. I'm actually working on it tonight, Wardell. I'm trying to put together the final pieces of the trailer. And it was not really going to be a trailer. It's going to be more like an insight into the project Dream on Dreamer. It's going to be about maybe 4 minutes long because I've waited for so long to put it out. So I want to give people an extensive version of of the trailer before I drop a trailer right before the movie premiere itself. So this is going to be like an insight into the movie and all the characters, well, the main characters. That includes you, myself, Triana Moore, and Diamond Marie, and a few other characters. But Kyle, you were lucky enough to make the trailer, so Kyle will also be in there as well. So I can't wait to drop it. I'm excited, keep my fingers crossed.
Man, that was an awesome project to work on, man. We had so much fun, man, and
well, for you, so much fun for you. We'll keep it like that.
Well, I know we had some issues that happened a few times, but
cheers.
Hey, cheers to it, man. But at the end of the day,
it's all good.
You was able to make it happen, right?
Yes, sir. Praise God.
No doubt. And Kyle, Andrew, what's up, man?
What's going on, y'all?
Hey, what's up, Kyle?
Kyle is a vet with WCEG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's up, man? Let's go ahead and give a little bit of who you are.
Nothing much. I used to host a show on WCEG called Millennial Talk 2.0. Now I am currently a writer and editor. I am a master's student at Full Sail University and a CDC specialist, communication specialist for the CDC. So I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. Now the CDC been I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into the CDC.
We've been busy.
Yeah. Cause Michael, aren't you some kind of way affiliated with the CDC?
I used to work there years ago. Yeah, for research.
Yeah. Yeah, CDC something else. Okay.
There's something. Yeah.
We're not gonna get deep into that today. We're on a whole nother topic. but yeah, they something else. So I appreciate everybody for coming on. And without further ado, we're gonna get right to the nitty-gritty, because I get a lot of messages and emails, and people want me to ask questions about certain things. So I said, okay, I will ask my panel guests. And now on every show, some of the shows I may ask the same questions, but I'm asking some different questions this time. But the number one question I ask is the topic of the show, which is, do we make our relationships hard, or do we make them hard? Charlie, I'm gonna let you respond to that first.
Well, I think we probably all could agree that we make them hard. Relating to each other should be fairly easy. And I think it is always going to be about, what are you willing to give up, change, do to make yourself better related to each other. One of the things I thought would be good to do is like kind of define what makes a relationship hard, and I'll try to be real quick with that. So I listed some things. So what makes relationships hard? I said unwillingness to yield your position on something. Commitment to relationship concepts that don't fit your own personal relationship needs. Lack of emotional intelligence. You guys know what that means, right? You don't know how to respond to conflict, and you don't deal with conflict well. Okay. Expectations without mutual agreement. Sometimes things aren't even reality based. You know who you're dealing with, and you have these expectations that they can't fulfill, that they don't fulfill for years, and that kind of thing. And then I said, unwillingness to acknowledge the grievances with your behavior from your significant other, unresolved relationship issues, insecurities, feelings of inadequacy, and lack of knowledge about your partner. Those are just a few things that I think make relationships hard, and unnecessarily so. So, yeah.
I think you took them all. You took everybody's. I think you took them all.
You took them all, right?
Took them all. Yeah. Well, that was a great show. We'll see you guys. Thank you.
Wait a minute.
Well, some people might have a different opinion. Aphrodite, what do you think?
There's plenty.
I think that the greatest part of making a relationship hard is not identifying love and its ingredients, which is substance. And I say that because people say, oh, I want this and I want that, and I want him to be that way and I want her to be that way. Well, you're already putting your ingredients in, but most people don't recognize them when they see them. And so it makes it hard. And so my thing when people ask me about love and relationships, you have to see the mirroring substance in things. And so substance to me, whether it's conversation, whether it's natural attraction, it's a substance thing for me.
Okay. And that makes sense. I agree with that. I agree. Michelangelo.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with both of the young ladies, with what they had previously said. But I also think that if you get down to just basic textbook, it's all about proper communication, whether it's intrapersonal or personal communication, external or internal, whatever it has to be. The way that we say things, and sometimes they're perceived in a different way in which we meant them. So that makes a relationship hard. I think you got to know your partner, know your boundaries, like things you can say and can't say, and just know their emotional buttons before you push the wrong button, which creates just a train wreck of problems. So you got to just know each other from the inside out. I think that's a great place to start. Start trying to know each other from the inside, because we oftentimes know people from what we see on the outside. Somebody's pretty, somebody's attractive, somebody's whatever. It's those physical attributes that sometimes pull us in, but I think it's the internal or the emotional things that we need to really focus on the more. To try to go inside and then come outward.
Okay, Kyle.
Are relationships hard, or do we make them hard? I definitely think that they should be easier than what we've all, I'm sure, experienced, especially in my own experiences. And, from talking to my friends, I feel like a lot of the issue a lot of times is that we find it hard to compromise. And that was a big pill for me to swallow in my own relationship for years, is compromise and, just kind of being selfless and, understanding that once you find somebody that you want to be selfless with, that you actually have to act on that. And so it's not hard at all. We just have to get out of ourselves and give our attention and time and love to the person that we want to spend our time with.
I agree with you. And I think also it's a place of where we are in our mindset. So if a person, first of all, for men and for women, the first thing we do is when we meet a person, we see what they look like. Okay. And we determine from there if that's someone we want to talk to or not. Now, we can decide if we want to just be with them sexually, intimately, or if later on, if time pursues and we get a little closer to them, we could that whole mindset can change. And now we see them on a whole different level. So I think relationships are as hard as we make them, or as easy as we make them. But we both got to be on the same page and working toward the same thing. If we both go in two different directions, it's never going to be easy. And but I definitely believe that relationships should be something worth working on, even if you come across some paths that aren't actually that good. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about communication. It's all about understanding, and it's all about how much you want to. For me, it's about pleasing the other person. I always think about what I can give to the other person instead of what I can get back. And I think if more people think in that perspective, and they start thinking about what they can give the other person instead of what they can just receive from the person, you'll be able to cover a lot of land real quick. You know what I mean? How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
I agree.
Right.
Totally. I feel that that's like the missing piece for a lot of people is that desire to please the other person.
Right.
The person that's been married as long as I have, it's not that desire isn't there. It's more like when you're getting to know a person and you haven't really had a lot of years with them to know who they are, you're having to quickly adjust to somebody you don't know. One of the reasons, and this is a whole nother show, that I don't really believe in marriage vows. I know. That's like, I get it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? We gotta talk about that.
Let me qualify.
Okay.
you are making a commitment to someone you do not know. Being a married person, I am learning about my spouse every day. Every year there's something.
Right.
Man, I didn't know you was like that about that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when you say, until death do we part, or for better, for worse, or whatever, you have to understand you are taking on an enormous responsibility to be tied to the rest of your life that you do not know. And you just made a vow to God and in front of man to do that. Now you have a person who is not your match, you know, that you don't maybe even connect to. And so now you've now built a family. You have children together.
Right.
You have financial responsibilities that you share together. And now you have a commitment to this joker before man and God. Oh my God. Why? What are the odds? You know, you were a good girl. You know, you followed all the rules. And now you're having to work through things with this guy that you don't know. Now, it can be, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now, let me ask this question, because with people that's been married for so long, I know when you first start off in a relationship, you know, you see butterflies and everything is good. And but as time progressed, everything's changed. You know, you grow. You know, your feelings change. You know, how you do a lot of different things that's changed because of the knowledge you acquire as you are together in this relationship. Now, some people they can make it last forever, for real.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, and through research, you know, majority people wind up getting divorced at some point.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think is the root cause of that? Because we all change. Everybody changes. It's just we all grow and we change. But what is the root cause of when you're in a relationship and you've been in this relationship for all these years, and then all of a sudden it just turns, you know, like, or you just wake up one day and realize, what am I doing? Who am I with? Because I've heard people say that before.
Yeah,
you know,
this is a good one. I'm not going to take up too much time because I know we all got to weigh in. But let me tell you, because this is really good. This is profound. Like I said, I don't believe in marriage vows anymore, because now this is the root cause to answer your question. Like I said, you are trying to mesh with someone who's possibly not your match. Someone that you love, someone that you're attracted to, someone that you build a life with, but they may not be your match. Meaning, they may not have your same mindset about things. Like, I'm a very outgoing person and stuff, and I like to go places. I'm very social. My husband is not. He's not a bad person because that's not what he wants to do. But I mean, how am I going to go off and show off this arm piece and stuff, and he want to stay at home and watch a game? You know, how am I going to enjoy my life with this person that I chose to be with? Because he, you know, you have to like kind of drag him out. Come on, honey, you know, let's go. So
now, what about earlier? Like earlier in a relationship, was that different?
Yes, because we were young, and we were both you know, going to church, and the pastor said, and the congregation said, you know, just pray and make Jesus and God the center of your life, and everything will be perfect. And of course we believe that's how it worked, because what? We are believers. We took it very seriously. I mean, we abstained. You know, we followed all the rules. We did it like we were told, and we prayed together. Like I said, we were attracted to each other. We did things for each other. We were very sacrificial, all that stuff.
Right.
But when you take all of that away, you now have to get to know this person that you did not know. Okay.
Right.
And we've had a very fast, you know, courtship, but that still doesn't matter in terms of knowing a person and who they are and all that kind of stuff, and trying to find out who they are. So everything was fine in terms of us knowing we were both nice people who followed the principles of the Bible and the Christian faith. And so we just like, I ain't got to know all that stuff about you. Shoot, you know Jesus, that's enough.
Wow.
That's how we looked at it. And so here we are.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you being open about that. That's a pretty deep thing. So that's gonna bring me to my next question, which is, and I'm gonna direct this to Aphrodite. Do you think marriage is overrated or underrated?
Ooh.
I think it has a rating of its own. It is. It is in a field of its own because it's filled with so many things. And really, the rating of it is at a high expectation. And it's, like she said, spiritually. But when it comes to marriage, I guess you would say your rating would come from you, how you value yourself and what you're going to put into it. Whether you are X-rated level of, I'm going to put everything in it and this is what I'm going to get. And or are you going to be PG-13 in general? And be a kid at the movies, not knowing really what's going on when you see the big picture. The wide scale of this is just really know who you are, and I guess your expectations should meet your visually, I guess, when you open up.
Right.
And the topic before you switched over to this one of the rating,
right.
I wanted to say that,
She's gonna say something. You had to lean back on that.
Because it's like this thing is like you pour into every aspect of a person when you meet them. So my thing, when I meet a person, I know right away I'm going to be selfless. Like I'm going to apply myself. If you don't come with that selflessness intentions, then you're going to kind of throw a monkey wrench in it. And a lot of people do. And you're like, hey, what are your intentions? Well, my intentions is you not to add any oil to my water. Just keep it simple and we'll get along great. Simplicity is the sexiest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes me back to what I said earlier. If we both, work toward giving instead of what we're going to get out of it, I think it will cover a lot more, and you'll feel yourself more connected and more accepted by the opposite person. A lot of times when people get into relationships, they immediately thinking about what they can get out of the person. Oh, he got a nice car. Oh, he got money. He got this, and so
that's the X-rated rating. Sorry.
Right.
But if you didn't get what I meant by that,
I got what you meant.
Stuff like no.
Yeah. But instead of thinking that way, think, man, how can I make her life easier?
Yes.
You know what I mean? What can I do to make her smile every day? Things like that. It'll change the whole scope of the situation. What you feel about that, Mike?
Oh, I definitely agree with what everyone said. I do believe that what makes if your question was, is marriage like overrated or is it underrated? Like, I think we make it overrated by the expectations that we put on the relationship. You may look at some of your friends and say, oh, well, such and such has this and that, then why can't we have this and that? And you should be doing this. All these mandates that you put in a relationship that really are superficial, and they should be, it's like what one speaker said, it should be very simplistic. You're a man and wife. Your job is to love each other. To take care of each other, to just coexist. But then you start bringing these other factors into the relationships that you see on the outside, and that's when I think what one person perceives as being realistic may not be what the other person perceives as being realistic. And then things start to get hard or complicated, and all of us are going to bring our own personal family upbringing with you into a relationship. You saw how your mother and your father had a relationship, or you saw how your uncle and your aunt or whatever relationships that you saw in your world. you have to match that with your partners. If they're not parallel on some level, you're gonna have problems that will eventually seep into your relationship.
And you know, I like what you just said too. You see your parents and stuff. Now, let me ask this question. It's just a question because we got people watching, and I want to present certain angles to what people say. Because you said with parents watching, the way you were raised and you saw your parents and stuff, but a lot of the percentage of Black people who have seen, who are in a household with both parents and have seen love, seen their parents, be in love and seen the act of love, is not really common. Most households are one parent households.
That's
so
exactly what I'm saying. Is like, if you have a poor vision of what a true relationship is, if you saw just your mom dating 1,000 different guys and never really, being totally locked down with one, and then if that's how you were raised, you go into a relationship, or if you saw your uncle with 1,000 women, you think, well, I'm going to be a player. This is all I've ever seen. That's what your environment has to offer you. So you have to learn from your stimuli in your environment.
So is that person's fault, or is it the other person's fault? That's
why it's like what the other lady said. You have to make sure you know who you don't know someone. You make sure you know who you're marrying. So if you're gonna, when I was married, I made sure that I did visit with the family before. That's just how we do. We're island people. It's just how we do. So I made sure that we visit the families to see. Okay, I can see grandma's relationship over the years versus the fathers. It's a generational thing, and behaviors tend to repeat themselves over a period of time if they're not modified or changed. So if dad was a cheater and mom stayed with dad, and then you become a cheater, then your son becomes a cheater, same thing happens because you've seen these bad patterns of relationships. You're exactly right. So you got to make sure that you got to somehow, change the previous and try to create a new, because you have a new bond now. It's you and your wife, or you and your husband. You got to make new bonds, and it could be damage on both sides of your family versus her family, and you got to try to unbreak those bad traditions through relationships.
Right.
You got to change that.
Yes, come with your glass. I wanted to say something when he said that, but he's basically saying come with your glass empty, and most people have a glass that's overflowing with all these things. But if you don't come with your glass empty, how am I supposed to fill it for you?
Yes.
I like that analogy. That was a very good analogy. I like that. And Cal, how do you feel about this whole situation?
I definitely don't feel like marriage is overrated. It's actually something I aspire to do one day, but I always tell myself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people say this, but I only plan on getting married one time. And before I make the decision to end it for whatever reason, I'm going to make sure that I have given it my all. I actually come from a divorced parents, but they divorced when I was in like 3rd grade. I never saw my mom date a bunch of people. My dad, he later got married. I never saw him date a bunch of people. And even in they're both in new marriages now. And so even in their new marriages, I can remember, how they were in their marriage when I was younger, and I can see how they are in their marriages now. And they're still both great examples. It just, unfortunately, it didn't work out between them. And so now moving forward, as in my adult life, I know how I want my marriage to look.
Okay. And you're a young guy, Kyle. So how is it in the dating world, man? Like, for real, like, you out here, man, you doing your thing. How is it out here in this world of dating?
I'm 26 and I'm in a relationship, and I've known my girlfriend for 5 years, but we've been dating for like the last 2 to 3 years. And dating as a millennial is really complicated because we have this new technology where we can see a person and swipe if we don't like what we see, and and that makes it convenient, and it makes it also really difficult because we don't know how to talk, and we don't know how to communicate. And so I feel like that's a lot of the downfall of a lot of our relationships.
Swipe left.
That communication.
Man,
so
you hit the nail right on the head, because I believe technology kind of crippled the true meaning of relationship. Because back in the day, you had to go meet that person. You had to spend time with that person. You had to do, you had to do some work. But now, because even on the cell phones and stuff, like even back then, we couldn't talk on the phone like we did now. We had to go and actually meet the person, take the person out. And I believe when you do it in that way, you kind of get more of an intimate part of a person than just talking to them. Because now you can talk to them on the phone. You can swipe, you can FaceTime. People don't even.
It's like virtual grocery shopping. You don't want to leave it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Put everything you want in your basket and sort through it when you get home.
But at the same time, I mean, do you feel like that's a good thing or a bad thing? Like, you probably can figure some things out without having to spend no money and put your time into it.
Yeah.
Whereas,
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's convenient. Yeah, it's convenient, but it has crippled a whole generation. And I feel like moving forward, we're not going to know how to go forth about courting a woman and maintaining a healthy relationship. It's gonna
find an older couple that's been together forever and they still all over each other. You'll get it.
My parents.
And I'm gonna tell you,
my parents.
Oh yeah, because every older couple I've seen that have been married 50, 60 years, the first thing I ask them is, what does it take to stay together this long? And their number one answer is never, we in love with each other. It's never, I just listen to everything she says. She listen to everything I say. It is the number one answer to that is we gotta like each other.
Yes.
Like you like and I say this because my little girl who's 4 years old, I always say I love you. She say love you too, daddy. But a couple of times she would just sit on my lap. She'd look at me. She said, I like you, daddy.
Aww.
And to me, that means more to me than saying I love you. I'm just like,
I just broke you down, right?
Yeah.
Just because I love you don't mean I like you. Yeah,
exactly.
It does mean I like you.
When you like somebody, that means you could take a long road trip and be quiet.
Yes.
And still feel good because you sitting next to that person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And and when she said that, it just touched me, and she said it quite a few times. And I was just like, okay, and I felt like the man, but it's little stuff like that make you feel good, about who you are as a person. When somebody just say, I like you. Like I really like you, It just because you can love somebody all day. That don't mean y'all belong together.
Yeah,
right.
What is that? What is the difference between love and like? I mean, I have my thoughts about it, but that is a key question. Like, okay, when I say I love you, that means that I care about you and I'm doing things to show a concern for your well-being and who you are as a person, trying to understand you and trying to adjust my way of thinking in my life in order to really better connect to you. And I'm going to look out for you. I'm going to look out for your best interests. I'm going to protect you when I can. And when you like a person, what you're saying is I like who you are already outside of who I am and what I can bring to the table. And a person is not operating in an authentic place, and they're saying and doing things that dishonor you and disrespect you. They're saying, without saying the words, I don't like you, they're saying, I don't like you. There's something about you I don't like. And for me, I like everybody. Even when you don't like me, even when you're mean to me, and let me qualify that. Let me say what that means to me. I intentionally go in with the express intention to look inside you and pull out what it is I like and try to work with that. I do. I sincerely do. And so when I see those positive things in you, I'm busy trying to do what I can to pull it out and make you feel secure and make sure you know that I don't know what insecurities you're dealing with. I don't know how you see yourself or what little girl or boy, said to you when you was in school that hurt your little feelings and all that kind of stuff. Get that out of your head, because I see your greatness and I want to pull that out, and I want to build you. I want to build you king or queen. I want to make you see what I see. The problem is when a person does not like themselves and they're operating in some sort of inadequacy or feelings of inadequacy or self-loathing and insecurity, they don't believe you. They won't believe you. There's nothing you can say or do. They will become petty, shady. They will undermine you. They will undercut themselves. They will cut down the blessing, which is you, because of their own lack of self-worth. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you're trying your damnedest to make sure they know that, excuse me for the word damn, you're trying as best you can to say, hey, get out of your head. I'm here for you. I see you. But it does not work. So when I realize a person is operating in some kind of dislike for me, I know that it comes from some place within themselves that is struggling, because I'm authentic, and you're gonna know you're loved when I'm done with you, if you're operating in an authentic place and in the right heart towards me. And when you're not, I know you don't like me.
Okay, that's some deep stuff right there.
Yeah.
So I want to change the scope a little bit, because we're going through an epidemic, and from what I understand, the ratio of divorces during COVID skyrocketed like bananas, and it skyrocketed. But at the same time, just last year, I don't know how many people got engaged. So to me, I'm looking at it from both sides. I think, well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask you guys the question first. Do you think that COVID made relationships stronger or weaker?
Both.
Both.
It made the young people that are continuing to start dating be able to push past the swipe, and it made the older people realize, like, oh, you ain't got to go to work, you working from home, now I got to deal with you. Now you're at a level that you really got to know who you're living with, because they're always there 100%. He's
that's what
on lunch break in the living room, and oh boy. So,
you know what?
It's at two levels. The young people are getting it in on the right track, and the older people are realizing, what did I do?
Yeah.
I think when COVID hit, people that was going to work, they were like, "Ooh, I can't wait to get to work. I can be in my own lane, my own world. I'm in control. I'm not controlled at home, so I can just do what I want to do." So when COVID hit and they had to stay home, it's like, "Oh, you here? Oh, you here?
You still here?"
Just like you said, Aphrodite. Like, I think people realize, I really don't like you.
Yes.
I think going to work. Yeah, I think going to work was saving the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Seeing my side piece was saving the relationship. because now I got to deal. Hey, I'm just telling the truth, because some people found out that they really don't like the person they with, and the side piece was making them happy.
You mean the work husband wasn't getting to see you as much as the real husband now?
Hey.
And
the work
she
wife.
The one that brings you lunch and you chuck your wife's lunch in the,
Hey, I didn't say she was bringing lunch and all that now.
Oh, the work wives be the work
Mine
wives,
was.
let me tell you.
The work wives.
Cookies, baked goods. Like what?
Baked goods?
Yes.
Thank you, work wife.
But they persuade you at work, honey. They treat you good.
Yes.
That's because you know why? Because you're at work. Thank you for being at work. Here goes some food so you can stay here and stay stay good and healthy and eat.
If you say so, I don't know. I think that's a whole nother art of persuasion. Like,
no, I'm just
while
kidding,
you eat that cookie, you might need to have a glass of milk because
for real. For real,
Uh-uh.
those are real things. Some people, were happy that the guy was home away. Some people can't be together in the same place 24 hours a day.
It did take, I would say this, it did take some adjusting to being at home 24/7. I'm in the entertainment industry, so we're always gone, we're always out, mingling with other people or doing, just out in the world. Then when the world shuts down, you're faced to deal with or interact with that. Nothing, no disrespect, babe, but to interact with that one person. And it took us a while to just realize, like, okay, we like each other, but we have moments where we don't, and we still have to appreciate to fall back on the love. When the light is weak, we have to fall back on the love, which is strong. Like, okay,
yeah, right.
I apologize that I drank your last whatever it was in the refrigerator, but
I like
if
that.
I was at work,
I like that.
So it's still small things. Just
and I agree with you. You have to fall back on the love, because man, I don't know. I was chilling by myself during COVID. But
you trying to throw something at me? It's my turn.
I was gonna say, duck.
Hey.
You was like, okay.
No,
I was like,
hey. Can't get at me.
Look, that's
why he apologized. You didn't notice because he know her. She would throw something.
But I know that it's true. It's true. We didn't like each other at sometimes for about 3 or 4 days. Just like, I got to get out of here. The gyms were closed. The parks were closed. You can't go anywhere. Like, God, I cannot leave this place.
But that's why it's important that when COVID wasn't here, it was still important to date. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To do those things that got you in the first place, dating, saying little whatnot, little text message, all that stuff, it makes love what it is, and when you wind up having to be somewhere and around each other for a long period of time, you can still do those things. You're like, look here. Yeah, see, this is when role playing comes into play. Yes. You know what I mean? Hey, you go to that room, I'm going to go to this room. We're going to act like we just met each other for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm dead serious. That's how you do it. And then you can do candlelight, you can do the fire, light the fireplace up, throw the blanket on the ground, you know what I'm saying? Like, make it something useful where you can grow instead of just pull each other apart.
Well, why do you know? I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, I think that's easy for a lot of us who act. We can go to Never Never Land in our minds quite quickly, more so than regular people, and we're more spontaneous.
She said Never Never Land.
Yeah, because we never get old in our way of
That's true.
We adapt. If I'm like, we have multiple personalities, so we can be whoever needs whenever. I'm gonna be like knocking on the door if he wants a mail lady, then today I'm gonna be his mail lady. But it's just how it is with us. We can adapt, but from dealing with somebody who has a set personality,
right,
that's a difference. Like, that's a whole nother ball game, because we're used to switching it up. We're used to becoming someone else and emotions and things like that. And this person lives 365 days out of the year themselves. So guess what? We're a whole lot of something for a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
So we're in a different ball game. So you can't say let's act. That's like, whoa, yes. Now we're talking. They're looking like, uh-oh is right.
But you still can do like romantic things that y'all used to do when you first started. You know what I'm saying? You can still do a date in the house, you know what I'm saying? Or go to separate rooms. Sleep in a separate room overnight, act like y'all going out for the first time the next day. You know what I'm saying? Like, people got to just become creative and create ways to build, keep that relationship alive and find the love that's either dissipating or the light that's dissipating. I'm just saying, who knows? But
You got to change your mind, Wardell. You got to
Your
change
mindset. Yeah.
This is the thing. All of that sounds real easy when you're just looking at it from a surface perspective. But when you have not dealt with things like, COVID makes you put a lot of people in a position where they now had to face some stuff, and they could ignore for years because they was going to work.
Yeah.
Right.
And
yeah.
The difference for me in my own personal relationship is we were always talking. That was never an issue. You know Wardell, how I.
Yeah.
So I'm a talker, and I was always having something to say. And my husband, he's a person who he listens and he hears you, but he is also very who he is and very content with that person. And that's where you're not a match. The reason we work in terms of still together and not completely ripped each other's head off is because we have a genuine love and respect for each other. We're still not a match, but because we have a respect and a genuine unconditional love for each other, we still take care of each other. We still look out for each other. We still respect each other when we have an argument. We don't yell at each other or cuss each other out or say things that are disrespectful. And so when you have a friendship like that, when COVID comes around and stuff, it really isn't a big deal for you to deal with each other because you've always been this way. You weren't running away necessarily from each other as much as it is. And I made this discovery recently. Sometimes you're unhappy with how their personality is, but sometimes you're unhappy with what you've done with your life and you project it on them.
Right.
And what I mean is I would make him the blame indirectly for why I was unhappy with certain things in my own personal life. And
that's what most people do.
Yeah. And because if you're inarticulate or you don't want to take responsibility for your own actions, you run away and you try to make somebody else the problem and try to solve problems outside of your connection with your spouse. And what I learned about myself, and this is the thing, looking at yourself, I had to come to terms with the fact that I was blaming this really nice person who was doing everything he could to make me happy the way he could, because I wasn't doing, what I wanted to do as far as like this, my life, career and talents and all of that kind of stuff. And I was, it wasn't that he couldn't work on some things. It's just that when you're unhappy with yourself and some things that you're not doing in your life, you sometimes make them use their way of doing things as an excuse, like, oh, it's because of this, that, why I'm not doing this, that, or the other. And so I realized that I apologized to him for that. And he's like, I thank you so much for saying that. And he said, I realize we still have some problems and stuff, but I thank you for saying that and admitting that. And so I think sometimes we just don't want to face certain aspects of who we are ourselves. And not that I'm a horrible person, just had misguided feelings about certain things. And
what about counseling? Seeing someone to help through the situation, because for some reason, us as Black people, and I'm just speaking, when you talk about counseling or a therapist or anything, they're like, oh no, I'm not crazy. You're not. It's not. People, you're not crazy if you go see someone. That doesn't mean that you're crazy. It just means that there's some issues that that needs to be resolved. And it's better to go to someone who's a professional who can help you deal with it than someone who is a friend who's going through whatever they're going through themselves and have their own opinions based off of their situation.
So for some people, but I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's a great idea if you are people who don't talk and can't communicate and articulate your feelings. But I think the problem with us was not a lack of communication or understanding. One time I had a friend come over and my husband told her, yeah, I hear what she's saying and all, because, we were using her as a counselor, very, very, my friend from Way to True Love. She is on Facebook and she helps, couples and all that kind of stuff, but I had her for free. And so I, was talking about some of the issues we have in front of her. And this joker admitted to her, like, yeah, I hear, she tell me, she got these issues and these problems and stuff. And I agree with her. I know that I should do this, that, and the other, but I was thinking, I'll just go ahead and do this. So me and my daughter, we looked at each other like, do you hear this? Do you hear this? Because sometimes how it is, you think like, oh, maybe he didn't understand what I was saying, maybe
right.
He's not sinking in, maybe,
But he did understand, he just didn't want to.
He just didn't want to do it. He is who he is. So that's why I say we're not a match. We're besties. We're besties.
I got you.
Working it out because we got this family. We love each other and all that kind of stuff. But we trying to hang on in there, trying to work it out. But yeah, you have to decide that I want to acquiesce who I am to please this person. I can't say that I'm not willing to just, sit back and chill in the house and watch football or run track, that nonsense working out all day long.
What?
What? I ain't trying to do all that.
There ain't nothing wrong with working out.
I know.
Really? I'm going there right after this. I want to see the world. I want to explore things and meet new people and couple, do things with other couples, travel and all that kind of stuff. But it's just not who he is. Now, it's not that he's not willing to do that sometimes and stuff, but it's, it's just difficult because that's just not his thing.
I think in growth, you either grow toward each other or you grow away from each other. Yeah. And, I definitely think that y'all start going the opposite direction. But it's all good. I believe that, life is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? You're late, however you live. Because, one thing for me is I strive to live in a very peaceful, sound world. I don't know who has, what does that mean? That means I don't know who got an issue with me, but I don't have an issue with you. That means that I do what I do because right now, I'm a single man. I'm not married. I'm not engaged. So whatever is happy for me is happy for me. Now, when I have a girlfriend, it's a different thing. Now I'm thinking about her and what her needs is and what she wants to do and things like that. And then we have to decide, because one thing I don't do is change people. I don't try to change nobody anything. When I get with someone, I just try to determine if that person is someone whose actions and who they are is
with you.
They line up with me. And as people in the entertainment industry, Aphrodite, Kyle has been in the entertainment industry a little bit. Mike, our lives isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
It just isn't. It is not.
I think I told you that one day.
Yeah.
I think I really told you that.
Yeah.
Like, because this is hard.
Yeah. Because we're not for everyone, especially people who don't or have never been or has experienced the entertainment industry. We can have a weekend open, on Monday, and by Wednesday we book the whole weekend, or we on phone calls, long periods of time, conference calls, always on social media, always, trying to promote ourselves and put ourselves out there. And a lot of women don't like their men on social media all the time. A lot of men don't like their women on social media all the time. But that's part of our job. Our number one job is to promote ourselves. That's how we get out.
That's our number one argument. That social media. That's our number one argument in this house.
And that was going to bring me to my next question. Can social media destroy a relationship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm gonna quickly say that. Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
I
Okay.
disagree.
So
Yes.
No.
so give me some insight. I'm gonna start with Kyle. Give me some insight on what can destroy a relationship on social media.
It could be something as simple as who you follow, who you're speaking to in your DMs, what kind of picture you like. You know, it's things that you would think that don't matter actually make a really big deal on both sides for men and women. Because I mean, I've been guilty of, my girlfriend's just scrolling on Instagram. I'm like, what was that you just liked? And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is that? I've never seen him before. Yeah. So
Okay.
it definitely can.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I am a person whoever I date, I'm never really on their page. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm never really on their page because number one, I know whoever I'm dealing with is gonna be a beautiful woman. So I know it's a guy that's gonna say something to it. I just don't care. You know what matters to me is how we are outside of social media. You know what I'm saying? Our connection, how we move, what's going on. I can care less about. So I promise you, I've dated people and they were like, "Did you see such that I posted?" I said, "I have no idea what you posted." So I will go look at it if you want me to. You know. Now I'm not saying I just don't go on her page. It's just not something that I have to go do. You know what I'm saying? Like like when I wake up in the morning, I'm just like, let me go see what she got on her page. You know, I just scroll I just scroll down the page, and if something she posts come across, I like it and just keep it moving. You know, now with that being said, as an entertainer, you have to understand the people that you're dealing with because, I deal with a lot of females and a lot of men. And most of the females that's in acting also model. so it's and Michelangelo, we got somebody in common that's just out there on social media, like literally got tons of followers and has no problem posting any parts of her body or anything.
Yes.
So, and that's just who she is. And I'm good friends with her, and Michael know her very well as well.
Yeah. Very nice person.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
she's very whatever she is on social media is what she is on social media. But I can go hang out with this girl and we just cool as a butt. Like she's a real cool, down to earth girl. Very down to earth. But what she has, what she want her image to be on social media, and that's what she does. Aphrodite.
That would be me.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
I'm one person at home and a whole nother
person. Yeah.
I put Aphrodite on and it's like, okay, I have to hang up the mom, the girlfriend, or whoever I'm gonna be outside of that, because that's a whole
different persona.
That's a ball of fire.
How often do you run across that? Do men have a problem with stuff you post on social media?
Ask the question one more time. Who? Why do you have to do that? Or so you lurking? I'm like, I'm working. I'm not lurking, baby. I'm working. It's a bit much. I need, my need in a relationship would be someone who is very strong in character. That means if my body of artwork goes out there, he can say in his mind, like, that's mine, instead of like, why you gotta be half naked? It's a difference in a man's mentality, his mental stability. Like, they will never touch me. They will never know what it feels to really be loved by me. They will not know who you know, because she and I are two different things. We are, that's like Sasha Fierce and Beyonce. Those are two different women. And you could see it. Like, she put on and it's over with. She's at the top of her game.
Yeah.
And that's the same with me. It's like, I go out, I'm always covered up. I'm completely different. Like,
that's
what
true.
People thinking over there.
I've met you several times out and about.
dainty and covered up and polite, and my alter ego is like, huh, this is what my mother gave me, and I'm just, sharing it. But hey, you know what I'm saying? But I'm sharing a certain aspect of that. What I'm trying to give this guy over here, these people will never know what that's like, And that's the problem with this female, I guess, I don't know how to say it, like relationship, entertainment. It is dangerous. I can't even just go left without explaining why I went right, or it's hard. Right. And I just want to get to the point where I'm in a relationship. And he just said, okay, baby, you did good today. I really appreciate this, how you took me in consideration, or some kind of feedback where I don't feel like I'm being attacked for just trying to succeed and apply myself in life.
Right. And okay.
Or do you want to go with your and?
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to add some perspective. I totally get it. And as a woman, I enjoy the feedback that men that I know telling me how beautiful I look, or that, oh, you look so nice, Charlie, or I like that little extra thing you did there. That's great. I actually love that. Right. I wanted to just add some perspective. I think sometimes when a man has made a decision that he wants you for himself, he knows how men think about you. He knows that they're not looking at you and saying, oh, what beautiful art. I
don't know. Sometimes I'll give you no choice because,
right. But I just want to just add some perspective. I'm just saying, I enjoy myself hearing a man say that you look lovely, or, you look good, all that kind of stuff. I enjoy that kind of thing. But I also understand how come a man doesn't want everyone seeing what he sees, because regardless to the heart and your intention, because I know my intention is not to be out here showing my husband's goodies to everyone, but at the same time, I could be covered up, like Mother Teresa, and still someone is like,
yeah, that's what I was saying. It doesn't matter, but
right. Yeah, but this, I understand though how that feels, and I think I'm the same way, because I feel that if my husband was on social media and he was half naked or something like that, and
you probably would like it.
Yeah, well, I would. Well, like, okay, let me say this. Let me clarify. My husband has gone out, and women will be walking all around him, in front of him, and all that kind of stuff, and I can see they're having they're admiring,
right.
Yeah. So I'm tired of the performance, because I'm starting to feel like she being disrespectful. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go over here to JCPenney's, and I'll see you later. Because I don't want her to feel like I'm in any way caring about her prancing around in front of him. So it's like he's a handsome guy. Hey, have at it, sis. But at the same time, even though I have that level of confidence when it comes to things on the outside, I think that I would have a problem with him gawking at the beautiful Aphrodite and hard eyes and photos and saying, damn, well, ooh, ah, oh my.
Now let me ask you this. And
I could look at you, Aphrodite, and say, yeah, she is gorgeous, and she's, sweetheart. I know her, she's cool, and it doesn't matter, because his reaction to you would make me feel disrespected and publicly disrespected.
Now if he did that with you and then did it with other people, how would you feel about it? Like if he showed you the attraction like when y'all just together, like he just all over you and he just kissing all on you and he just talk every time you put a new outfit on, you just like, girl, or you, yeah. So to me, if he's giving you that at home and he happened to see somebody else and think she's a nice looking woman.
No, you miss what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm like,
Okay.
yo, wait a minute.
We have both stood and said, you know, that's somebody that we thought was like really,
Okay.
You know, together when okay, can I tell you this real quick? Because I know everybody got to talk. Let me just tell you this one quick story.
Okay.
This is an example of what we're talking about. There was a young woman, very, very beautiful, and stuff that he sing. His sing, he saw, and I saw her too. His mouth dropped. He was like, so of course I'm like, I'm right here. You know, what are you doing? And so I embarrassed him. So I turned to the nice lady. I said, you know, please forgive him.
Oh, I hate that.
Very attractive. That's why he's standing here looking crazy right here in front of his wife. So he was angry with me. So
he should be.
Yeah, I get it.
Should be.
I didn't care though, because I was angry. I'm standing right here. So we get home and we have a conversation about it. And he's saying, you know, like that was disrespectful. Why did you do that? You're so insecure. He shouldn't have said I was insecure. I said, oh.
See, you started that argument.
Yes.
You started that argument.
Yeah, you did.
But let me tell you, I said, okay. So the next time we're out, when I see someone like, say, a Wardell Richardson, and I'm going, I'm carrying on, I hope you're secure in yourself when I
Right.
He said, duly noted, will not happen again. I said, exactly. And I've never had a problem with it again. Does that mean he does not notice other beautiful women? Absolutely not. He's a man, ain't he? Of course he does. I have no problem with that. I am secure in myself. I will compliment other women right in front of myself. You're very beautiful. Oh, thank you, ma'am. The ma'am, I'm a ma'am now. But yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. But on social media, since we're talking about social media, if my husband was on there making comments about other women and then pretending like, you know, trying to not like the photo, but making a comment and they're like, you're not going to see it. Social media shows you everything. And, you know, it seems sneaky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
right.
if you're not liking the photo, you're probably under the impression, oh, no one will see the comment. You know,
right.
I see the comments,
Right.
I see the likes, I see the heart eyes, I see all the compliments and all that. So,
you know what's funny to me? Like, I don't understand why people have an issue with like somebody liking a picture. I just, to me, it's just it's like this. Let me tell you.
It's a depend there.
I do not care.
Watching stuff and all sprawled out like this and stuff, you know, and your woman is like, ooh, man, I wonder what's in those shorts. You know, doing all that kind of stuff.
But see, this is the thing. This is when I feel like you should understand and know the person you're dealing with. Yeah. In my past life, I dealt with a lot of models. I used to promote them. I used to get them jobs. I had like several female models that I used to do that for. They wanted me to manage. You know, I was kind of somewhat a manager kind of guy. So a lot of them still follow me and like my stuff, and I follow them and I like their stuff. You know, because it is, you know, I've done business with them and stuff. But then somebody who I may be dating may come along and see me like this stuff and be like, why you liking her stuff? Like, she this or she that and da 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 da. I'm just like, I know her. Like, she's a friend of mine. You know, and then it goes from I know her, she's a friend of mine. Oh, you got friends like that? Like,
yeah.
Like I got. Listen, I don't rate. I don't rate what my friends do. What I deal with is who they are to me. You know what I'm saying? Because what people do on social media, how they post themselves, how they do their stuff, is totally, majority of the time, it's not even who they are when you see them in person. You know, when I had Mimi from Love and Hip Hop on my interview her on the show before, and the number one thing she said was, she said, I want people to know that it's not me that they see on Love and Hip Hop. They put me in the positions to be this angry person, you know, and so in her world, she feel like every time she goes somewhere, they feel like she's this angry person, you know, that's a feisty, angry person, and she is as sweet as pie. Like the woman is just sweet as pie. But that's the role that they gave her. That was the lifestyle they gave. So I think people need to learn to get to know people and understand people and get in their head a little bit and try to figure out who they are and stuff. Now, if it's something you just don't want to deal with, if you think it's that, because I had somebody who I dated who told me when we was dating, she said, because I'm always and Michael can clarify this, I'm always somebody's boyfriend, wife, multiple people boyfriend, multiple people wife. I may have a makeout scene. I may have all kinds. So the woman asked me, if we was to get serious, would you stop doing that? I said, I'm gonna tell you my exact words. I said, you knew what I was doing when you got with me. So what you need to ask yourself is, can you deal with what I do? That's what you should ask yourself. And then if you can't, keep it moving. Like
Yeah.
I am not going to make somebody do something that they don't want to do. I'm not in a position to try to convince you that I'm this super duper guy, whatever. It's up to you to determine that for yourself. And if you can't seem to surpass whatever it is I do in film or TV, then you just got to keep it moving. I'm not finna sit here and negotiate or try to, pick between my career and something that we possibly may have.
Right.
That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. And Wardell, since you brought that up, that was a big point of contention. And being honest, in this household, those things that we had to shoot, those were very intimate scenes. I mean, really, like
we shot the stuff we saw.
You've ever seen Insecure by Issa Rae? We had to shoot scenes just like that, and it wasn't difficult for me, but it was difficult for my girl. She just couldn't deal with it. She was like, I don't want to see it on screen. So I know that, and she was respectful. She was, I know it's your art, and then you wrote the script, and you spent a lot of money to produce it. So I know you want it to look authentic, but I just don't have to agree with it. And I understood. I said, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're being honest about this, but I'm still gonna go to this set and give it 100%. I'm gonna commit to this character because that's the character that I'm playing. I'm sure anybody who has a girlfriend or wife, if you see the scenes that we have to shoot, it is a bit unsettling for the moment, but it's art.
Yeah, it is.
It's art. It's art for us. Yeah.
And most other people will go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I just think that it boils down to the person that your significant other. They have to understand your brand that you've worked for and the brand that you're trying to maintain.
Thank you.
Like Michael and Wardell are actors, so sometimes you're gonna have to act. It's acting. You have to do scenes and act out this role. Aphrodite is a model, so that's the brand that she's built. So she's going to have and an actress. So exactly, model and excuse me, I'm sorry, a model and an actress. So this is a brand, and this is at the end of the day, this is how you all support yourselves, and so you have to put yourself out there. And I feel like it's important to have a significant other that understands that. And if you don't, then
you're right, Kyle. And at the end of the day, it's all about. Is number one for the person who has to date the person. It's about the security. Now, as actors, we have to provide that security, to let them know, hey, I'm coming home to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
now you sounding like me. I said that. They don't be buying that. Like, I mean, if they're not secure, they're not buying it, Wardell. That's the problem. We're trying to preach to,
and that's the thing.
To a crowd of deaf ears on that one. Now,
perspective here, because is it really that a person is insecure, or is it that what they feel they have with you is special and should not? I mean, I personally understand the whole concept of being a performer and stuff like that, and understand how, you're building a brand and how these are the things that are going to happen sometimes when you're building a brand. You're not going to always in your art, do things that your significant other is going to like. Totally get that. But
Right.
I just wanted to kind of touch on how any of us feel about anything. Okay, so it's like for you guys, it's your brand and your acting. What for you would be the thing that would be something you would have an issue with for your non-acting significant other, that would be kind of pushing the envelope for you and make you a little uncomfortable? Not
Well,
jealous, not insecure,
yeah.
but uncomfortable that they have to do. It doesn't even have to be something with the opposite sex, but something that would give you pause or make you like,
And I think with any relationship you get into, you have to, as your own person. That's why you ask questions. You go out, you date,
Yes.
you try to understand, you see what they do, see who they deal with, all that kind of stuff. And then you have to determine if that person is someone you want to consistently deal with based off of who they are. Now, if it's some part of them that throws up red flags to you and you just don't think you can deal with that, you can talk to them about it and see where their head is. If it's something that they may want to change, then they'll change it. But if it's something that they just, no, this is what I do, this is my career, this is everything I've been working on for years.
The problem is, though, Wardell, sometimes what you say is absolutely the truth. It's so true and very important. But if you are like really attracted to a person and you have all these other boxes checked off that they fulfill, and you're lonely and you haven't been with someone in a while, sometimes I think people take a stab at a relationship with a person to see if they can deal with certain things because they want so much to be connected to them, because they have so many other wonderful things that connect them. And so that, I think that's sometimes what the problem is not that a person is not aware, say in the case of this, of your brand and things like that, but sometimes it's because they've been alone and say, you're a really great guy and you're handsome and we have fun together, and we have similar interests and stuff, and now I haven't had anybody in such a long time, so now I gotta let him go because he may kiss a woman in a movie. I'm gonna try to get past it. I'm gonna see if I can deal with it. And sometimes those feelings don't stir up inside you until you actually see
Right.
a person engaging in some kind of connection that you thought was just for yourself. And I think we sometimes sleep on that or make light of that. A person like myself, I'm very emotionally vested in people. I don't play with you,
Right.
I won't lead you on. I won't try to make you think I'm your friend or I'm interested in all that kind of stuff and mess over you. I'm going to be emotionally vested because I'm authentic and I'm real and I take you serious as a human being. I care for you and your feelings. So for a person who has that level of emotional intelligence and care for human beings, it is extremely difficult to feel like a person could be so cavalier when it comes to how you feel about certain things. And that's what it feels like. It doesn't matter that you're building a brand. In that moment, you're thinking, I am so vested in this person that I won't do certain things because I'm so vested. And this person doesn't care about those things. It doesn't mean that you don't care. It's because you're just doing your job. But that's can sometimes be defined or translated through your actions, especially if you don't take the time to really explain yourself and you have an attitude of, well, that's just what it is. You knew what this was in the beginning, so, get over yourself. Some people don't take the time to explain it to you and break it down so you can understand and reassure you.
And see that, and that's what I do. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think that's when you're supposed to have those conversations. You sit down and you talk in depth about everything you do. Like what Michelangelo said, the project that we just recently did. Anybody I talk to, I tell them about that. I said, look, let me explain to you about a project that's gonna come out soon. And I feel like I owe it because I don't want no surprises. You know what I'm saying?
What you doing, Wardell?
And at the end of the day, you know, some people some people know what I've been doing. They've been following me for a long time. And I am a person that, you know, one thing about us as entertainers, we out there. We in front of everybody. You know, we Aphrodite done, I guess her phone died or something. I don't know what happened, but she's not on, but she'll get back on in a minute. But we're out there, you know, and usually when a woman starts dating a guy or a guy starts dating a woman, the first thing we do is what? Go look at their social media, because
Right.
we want to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's like one of the first things we do. So if you go to my page, the first thing you're going to see is that I have a radio show, that I'm an actor, producer, director. I do all these different things. So when we talk, I'm gonna put it all out there, everything that I do and stuff, and you decide, you know, because I'm not willing to sit and wait for you to figure out, you know, if you could deal with it, you know, because if you got to go through all that, you know, we wasting time, because eventually you know what, I just can't do it, and it could be a year later. You know, now you done wasted the whole year. Like, really?
Yeah,
you know,
really.
Just tell me, you know, what it is. If you can't do it, you can't do it. We just keep it moving. Like, it's I don't believe in life. Life is short. One thing I learned about this COVID, life is short.
Very short.
So you need to make the most of every moment of your life from this moment forward. So if you don't feel like something is for you, then it's not for you. Keep it moving.
Right, let it go.
Yep. If it's that woman that you've been trying to get forever, hey, hit her up. Let her know, hey, you know, I knew you had a bed before. You know, just kind of see where you at now. You know, are you single? You sit like, you know, take those chances, take those risks. You know, you just never know.
I like the fact that you said that, because that is so important. You know, I'm a married woman, and so there's always I am a married woman. So when someone who is not my husband approaches me, and it happens quite a few times here and there, it's always what I respect is a person who acknowledges that. Not acknowledges that, because for me, it says I am aware of this, but I still wanted to shoot my shot and tell you that I find you attractive. The reason that is, what that says to me is that even though you are aware of that, you are a man enough to say what you want instead of playing games, instead of toying around. Because this is the thing, people can't help who they're attracted to. And, you know, with relationships being the way they are, you never know where a person is. But when a man steps to you like a man with respect, I'm not talking about people propositioning you and stuff, and they don't even know your middle name. I'm talking about men who are just being gentlemen and expressing their intentions and operating it still with respect. I respect that. That is some real man stuff. You know, nothing may happen, but at the same time, I respect that, because that says you're emotionally intelligent, you're confident, and you're a person who believes in going for what you want and taking chances in life. And that a person can respect. I respect it. And I believe that a lot of men miss that. They're trying to operate, some of them are operating in trickery and trying to, you know, finesse the system instead of being authentic and honest, and then just propositioning strange women you don't know. Who does that? I mean, there is nothing that I am saying or doing, I assure you, that would warrant a person coming up to me and propositioning me.
You don't have to do anything but walk outside. Like this, like men are men. You know what I mean?
No.
We men, like you walk
Hey,
outside
Sean, let me holler at you,
and
Sean.
you look good, you know, they gonna holler at you like like.
No, I'm not talking about the hollering in terms of approaching you. I'm talking about basically send me a news.
Yeah, doing it with respect, you know.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, because we all recognize the opposite sex if we have eyeballs. You know, I haven't lost my sight just because I'm married. Are you freaking kidding me? You know, my eyeballs still work. You know.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, be an adult about yours. Just be an adult about it. And here's the reality: whether we feel comfortable with it or not, you never know where a person is with their status, and you never know what could come of that. And we all have, you know, we want things to be done obviously in a way that is respectful and is you know, just respectful or whatever like that. But at the same time, you need to take chances in life and go for what it is you feel you want. And I don't believe that you do yourself any justice by keeping this attitude of I can't talk to anybody or say what's on my heart because they are in a relationship or they're married. There are many people who are in relationships right now who really don't belong together, don't want to be together, but they're trying to uphold this standard and the concepts so rigidly that they don't feel the freedom to explore anything else outside of that, and they end up dying miserable and not really fulfilling, you know, themselves in terms of, you know, exploring another relationship. And I mean, that's a whole nother story, but it's something to be said about that. You know, people should have the freedom to decide what they want out of their lives without the scrutiny and the judgment and feeling that they somehow have dishonored themselves, God, and the rest of the world because they didn't stick in there with it. You know, the idea is to be happy, to be desired, to feel fulfilled, to experience a relationship that makes you want to live and be life. So
let me ask this, because we've talked a lot about you know, the social media and everything and being in relationships, and what are some, because we actually mentioned some of these and I was waiting to ask this question, but what are some deal breakers that you have with people that are just complete turnoffs? I'm gonna start with Kyle.
Go on, Cal. Tell us.
Now, Cal a young buck, been in a relationship for 5 years and everything.
No. Wait, hold on. We've known each other.
I gotta say,
we've known each other for 5 years.
I bet if I ask her, she'd say 5 years.
But for me, being as young as I am, I feel, and I've said this for a long time, and I've spoken to some of my friends about this, and I have some friends who disagree and friends that agree. But for me, a deal breaker is I'm not ready yet to date a woman that has kids yet, and I'm 26, and I don't really feel as though I'm ready to play dad or stepdad, and I feel like
that's understandable, brother.
And so I remember being like, I remember being like 22, 23, and one of my friends was trying to set me up with this girl, and we were talking, and I was like, okay, so what do you do on the weekend? She's like, I like to, you know, hike, I like to go shopping, I like to hang out with my son. I'm like, who? You know, and I'm like, how old is he? And she's like, oh, you know, he's 7. I'm like, she's like, he's 7. And I'm like, 7? He's about to start driving. I don't want to deal with that. Like, so yeah. So for me, that's a deal breaker. I can't do kids.
Start driving,
brother. He's 7, man. He's about to start driving. I don't.
No, not at all.
Wow, bro.
Your honesty, though.
Look,
I appreciate your honesty. I'm glad you.
Yeah, but you know what? You at a place where you can make that decision. You can choose that decision. Like people that I'm not saying we old as dirt or anything, but people our age, like most women gonna have kids and most guys are gonna have kids. So it's just the way it goes in most situations. But you're at an age, man, you young, you just what, 20, you said 26? Oh yeah, man. Yeah. You can find a woman with no kids, won't be no problem or nothing like that. But it's kind of getting crazy because even kids, we talk about this all the time. Kids are having kids. So, you just never know the situation, what happened.
Grandma's 36 years old.
Yeah.
Going to the club.
Grandma at the club hanging.
Babysit nobody.
So what's the deal breaker for you, Michelangelo?
I know this is bad, and I know it's like a two-sided thing, but infidelity is like it's just a bad thing for me. I know it's a sexist way of thinking because I've been on the other end where I was infidelity, and everything, and she gave me a second chance, but I know it's different. I know it's a second thing to say.
Yeah.
For me, that's
I'm gonna tell you something, bro. And there's a woman that I know. So we had this discussion some days ago. And we was talking about, deal breakers. And she asked me, like, what is what are your deal breaker? I said, same thing, cheating. And she said, why? And I told her why. And she was just like, I said, why? That's not a deal. She said, no, that's not a deal breaker for me. I said, why is that? And she said, because I want to understand what's going on. I want to understand the reason. I want to understand, what your thoughts and what would make you do certain things. Because she said you just never know the situation. You never, stuff can happen, and you just it happens, but it's not something that it's an end all be all. It's because if this guy has done all this stuff, provided, been there, take care of you, done all the right stuff, and this situation happened, she said, I want to understand more of why did that happen, and getting his head and stuff. She said, and if it's something warranted or worth forgiving and moving on, then she said that's what we will do. And I was just
women,
like, that's a different.
But see,
more. She's the first woman I ever heard say that. So, because most women be like cheating right out the bat, cheat.
Well, but most women are more apt to forgive than men. We think like, I've been violated. Somebody's been in my space. Somebody has violated the sanctity of my boudoir. So just the whole thing. It's just like, it's just a man thing, and it's sad. It's just very sexy, and I will admit it. But it's like, it's just for me. Doesn't
that go back to what we were talking about earlier about being on social media and a man not wanting his woman to be showing her goodies to everybody? Isn't that what I was just talking about?
Yeah.
But I think we should just
be
honest with that. Be real and honest.
I'm a different type of guy. Like let me tell you something. I want my woman to be seen. Do you hear me? Like, she put on the baddest dress and we go out because I know.
I like that part. Baddest dress, not your baddest song.
Her boobs out, her grabbing her crotch. I'm talking about her being lewd and sexual, and you want other men.
That's a little bit above the scale.
I'm not talking about
that's a little bit. But I'm saying.
In class,
I'm saying, if my woman got on social media and had a bikini on while she at the beach,
that's cool.
I don't care.
That's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Not acting trashy, and she's just
right.
That's different.
But see, but what I'm saying is there are a lot. I get stories from women that there are a lot of men who can't deal with that. Like they don't like. They don't like, they women doing certain things. They don't like them wearing certain kind of dresses, wearing it like, he looking at you, won't you put something like, no, man, that don't make me want to take my woman home and be like, girl, you so out today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying, Wardell, you're saying that if you and I were a couple, you would be completely okay with me being exposed and
if it's hot.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If you ain't totally nude on social media, if you are, but if you just putting on your sexy or whatever and doing, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you.
I just don't want you
I don't
to
care because
Yeah.
I don't want someone that other people don't want.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But what about?
You know what I'm saying?
But what about the possibility of private DMs?
No.
Well, see, look. Let me tell you something.
It depends on what it's private for. If it's business private, or if it's just like, yo, meet me somewhere. Nah.
Vivian, I think Aphrodite's trying to get back on, but I feel like I'm just a secure. I don't know what to say. I'm just a different type of guy.
No, that's okay. You're being
and so
about where you are.
And so I'm just. It takes a lot for the woman to do something to turn me off that way. Like you have to be darn near in a sexual act, like on camera. So for me to be like, okay, that's that. You know what? I can't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? But if she on social media, because I mean, you should go see Aphrodite stuff. Like Aphrodite be like half skipping and jump.
I'm going right after this interview. I'm going.
like she, and that's why she brought that up, because that's her. You know, that's her brand. Like she promote. That's how she promotes herself. But I've met Aphrodite on several occasions out in person, and she's never like that. Like she's totally dressed from head to toe. You know what I'm saying? Like she, like social media.
That goes to where we as men and women, we typically think differently, and those are the kinds of things that make relationships hard, because we don't honor those differences and we don't talk about those differences. I mean, how many times have you guys sat in a relationship with your woman or whatever, and you've actually talked about, okay, this is how men think. Like you have a general perspective of how men think, and she tells you how women think, and how you both view the same exact scenario, and then say like, oh, I would have never thought of it like that. Well, yeah, that's how I see it. Like, whoa, okay, well, that's eye-opening. So we need to, understand that when you do that, you don't mean it as disrespect. I don't like you. I don't feel for you. I don't care for you or anything like that. This is just for fun for me. For me, though, however, honey, that would not be fun for me to operate like that. That to me is offensive, and this is why it's offensive. Because I think we sometimes we've talked about how men and women are different, but I think we don't go into the details of how different they are. Like Michelangelo was honest in saying, he's saying, he's been out there before, in infidelity or whatever, but he would have a problem with his woman. Well, he's being honest about that double standard of not wanting to envision his with somebody else, and how men downplay it and say, oh, it was just sex.
You want me to tell you why? I'm gonna tell you why.
Men do that for different reasons. We do that for different reasons.
I'm gonna tell you the perspective, because for men, and I'm just saying this. I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah, it's not right.
Not
Right.
But for men, a man can be intimate with a woman, and it means absolutely nothing for him just having but with women, it's usually an emotional high that comes with that. And so for men, they feel different about that, which is why it's best to just not do it at all. Because now, you don't, if you're not doing it, your woman not doing it, y'all hopefully not doing anything, and y'all just doing your thing. So, but that's the perspective. That's how men look at that, and that's.
this is the problem with that. I feel that most women would be okay with that concept and that idea if a man was not pretending he was on that same emotional feeling and level as the woman was, you know, saying certain things like, I love you, I care for you, there's nobody else, I'm just so I think the problem is not that you think differently about that, but the trickery for some behind it. You know, a man who is honest about where he is from the beginning and is articulate enough and care enough to be clear about, you know, where he is and how he looks at, you know, sexual encounters or whatever like that would just make it just more clear as to where you stand. Because a lot of people that I know, I have heard friends talk about a guy and she's been on cloud nine. Oh, he's this, and oh my God, he's just so wonderful, and he's just so considerate, and he does this and blah, blah, blah. And they're on cloud nine.
Right.
2 months down the line, they're boo-hooing and we're talking on the phone. That bastard, he did this and he just threw me away. He told me I knew what this was in the beginning. What beginning?
Now listen, I'm not gonna say that men don't lie, but you know, women lie too, just across the board. But a lot of men say what they need to do to get what they want, and but a lot of times their actions don't match with their words.
Right.
If they want that one thing, so you have to pay attention to his actions more so. Because if a man really wants you, he's going to call you all the time. He's going to text you all the time. He's going to let you know he's thinking about you. He's going to be looking forward to seeing you. Yeah. He's gonna, you know, he's gonna want to spend time with you. He's gonna want to just whatever it takes to kind of get it. Yeah, he's gonna make it happen. And those are the men that are serious about being with you. Now, if he call you every once in a while, and usually the conversation end up with when can I come over? or
look,
you know,
look. What you wearing?
Yeah.
You ain't had one good conversation with her. Don't know nothing about her, but asking her what she wearing. You know, that he pretty much telling you right there what he wants. He pretty much putting it on the table. So I think for women, you know, women just need to pay attention to what's going on. You need to understand the situation. You need to pay attention to, you know, his motives and you know, how he talks to you and stuff.
And don't be so emotionally vested. And this is what happens when you are really operating in an authentic place and you're sincerely wanting to connect to a person. You sequester your feelings over very, very rapidly. I learned something that you can make your own mind believe you are in something or embarking on something that is actually meaningful with absolutely no evidence, no receipts of any kind that this person is even worth your time. They're showing you that they're not. And because of your desire to make it work so badly, you kind of just give into it and mentally construct this fantasy in your head that this person is more to you than they are. On top of that, they're saying things that they know you would want to hear. Men know the emotional state of women and how they typically are very emotional and immediately can connect and very nurturing people and all of that. So some, not all men, some take advantage of that knowledge and they are unapologetic about it. And when the stuff hits the fan, because in their mind, you either knew what this was in the beginning, they didn't do anything, they didn't tell you that they were just playing with you. So, but they did certain things that would say they are not serious, and they figured you should just be okay with that. but because
right.
that you're on two different levels of thinking, you are going to be operating in that relationship differently and thinking differently. And that's the problem, is the dishonesty and not being forthcoming about what you want, or just leaving a person alone that you know is having more expectations of you than you are willing to give. And that's the thing. It's the trickery. It's the dishonesty.
Yeah.
That's
right. All right, and we got Aphrodite back on the line. So listen, y'all, we got 10 minutes. You're muted, Aphrodite. There you go.
Now? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So glad you're back.
Welcome back.
Quick. Real quick. What, I asked the question. We got 10 minutes left on the show.
Okay.
What is a deal breaker for you?
I would say the deal breaker for me is to not get in a relationship with a person, right?
Yeah, if you was getting to know somebody and they said something to you that was a deal breaker, what would that deal breaker be?
I'm learning how to identify red flags a little more than my previous self. So, the deal breaker comes a little quicker than me accepting things, my little give me the strength to accept things that I cannot change. I'm learning that don't work in relationships with men. So,
what in the world?
Right? You dismiss quickly. Yeah, you dismiss quickly.
Yeah. Throw it over there. Because apparently my sisters knew how that game worked, and I was just the lovey-dovey one, was like, oh, now I'm going to make it work. But, now I'm just like, I have to learn what toxic is, because I'm so loving. I
that's the
look
problem.
over the surface of that, and it doesn't matter, I'm gonna deal with the toxic, but guess what, buddy? I'm still love, but not you. But so yeah, you ain't gonna knock me off my horse, but you'll teach me my lesson, but I'm gonna look forward to my blessing. That's how I am. So I don't know about that kind of stuff, because I'm just gonna keep aiming for what is meant for me. So I'm really just deterred by things that are not for me, that don't complement my soul. And that's my thing now. It's not even about his looks or anything like that. It's more like what's complementing my soul. Is that making me feel good when I get that phone call? Is that making me feel good when I'm away from him? My soul wanting to attach to you more. Those are the type of things that I know I like. Everything else is a red flag at this point. I'm too old to play with somebody's son, but
Oh, you women are funny.
Okay, so on that note, listen, guys, we got less than 10 minutes, and I want to, before we go anywhere, I want each of you to give a piece of advice for the people who are watching the show. If they were sitting right in front of you and you was able to talk to them and they said, listen, just give me one piece of advice on being in a relationship, what would that be? Starting with Charlie.
One piece?
Wow.
One piece. I just want one piece, Charlie.
That's gonna be so hard for her.
Yeah, I
Come
know.
on.
You know me so well, and you just
and we got to make it quick, y'all.
Okay. So my piece of advice would be to be comfortable enough in your own skin to be completely honest about what you want out of a relationship. Be able to be vulnerable and speak your truth without any reservations about that. That is going to be one of the things that is going to cover a multitude of issues if you're able to be comfortable and not afraid to say what it is you want, and always remember someone's humanity. Never forget that, no matter whether you
Charlie,
or not.
I said one, Charlie.
I'm sorry.
I knew you were going to go.
Good advice.
No.
Good advice, though, but I said one.
Yes.
All right, Aphrodite.
Okay. It must have been heaven sent, because the other day, an older gentleman, been married 65 years, told me, well, he asked me if I was married, and I said no. And I said, I'm divorced. And he was like, that I would find love again, and that I needed to approach love the next time around. Not even that it was his or my fault or anything, but when I get to that point again, to just love with my whole entire heart. And I understood what he meant by that, because you can love somebody, but you're not in love with them. And that was my first lesson in marriage failed number one. Like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. So I understood, and he meant to tell me that. So it would be the same advice that I give anybody. And being Aphrodite, the goddess of love, you gotta love with its whole entity and understand what love is, because it comes from your soul. And then if you don't have that in your soul, then you got to do some self-searching.
Right. All right. And Michelangelo?
Well, I think it's just simple, like love unconditionally while respecting boundaries.
Gotcha. That's a good one. Kyle?
For me, it would be to listen. Step outside of yourself and listen to your partner. If you guys are having issues, I know that can be, it sounds easier. It's easier said than done, but it's, once you do it, it'll be effective in your relationship.
Right.
Speaking of personal experience.
Good one, man.
For me, and I say this every time, know yourself, and love yourself. All those go into the same bag.
Right.
Because if you love yourself, you understand yourself, you know yourself, you can get through a lot of things, the stuff that you want, the stuff that you need. And when somebody's coming at you on some crazy stuff, immediately that's not going to work for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you just have to understand and know yourself. Charlie, what are your social media handles? How can people get in touch with you and follow you?
Well, I'm on Instagram. My handle at Instagram is I am_. Is that right?
Yes, I am _ Charlie.
Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. And then Facebook is Charlie Brown. Oh, and that's CHARLY Brown.
All right. And Aphrodite?
Oh, yes. I had to be the complicated one. I am Aphrodite, the model, and you can find me on IG. This is going to be a tough one. The real _ Aphrodite, the model. Complicated. I got to be complicated.
Yeah, you have a long one. I was like, woo.
Yes.
All right. And it's like that on all social media platforms?
And you can always just put in Aphrodite, the model, and I do so much, it just pops up. It just pops up. It'll link you somewhere.
There's not a lot of you out there under that name, that's for sure. Michelangelo?
Yeah, mine's real simple. We use the business website, which links you to all of my social media. So it's like AmAngeloProductionsNetwork.com. That's Angelo Productions with the S, network.com. It'll give you all the social media.
All right. And Kyle?
Okay, my Facebook is Kyle Andrew. My Instagram is Kyle Andrew with 4 W's, and my Twitter is Kyle Andrew with only 3 W's at the end.
See, why the youngsters gotta be
W's.
all like different on every social media?
Yeah.
Right.
Because some of them are taken, so you got to get creative.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh,
The
can
3 W's was creative.
One more time, because I don't think I said it right. It's I_am Charlie Brown, CHARLY Brown.
Okay.
And I thank you guys for coming on the show. This was an awesome show. I thank you guys for being open and transparent in a lot of situations. Charlie, I pray everything goes good with you.
I know that's right. With all this stuff I've been putting out on the table, I might have to come over, Aphrodite.
Oh, Lord.
Aphrodite, thank you for the time. And Michelangelo, you out there in LA, you like 3 hours behind us out there, man. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. And Kyle, as always,
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you, my brother. Hey, Kyle is a smart dude, man. This joker know how to do some of everything. Michael, you should know this.
Solicit your services, young man.
Yeah,
no problem. Thank y'all.
You know how to. Charlie, what you say, Charlie?
I was asking Kyle, what does he do?
I do video editing. I write. I do hosting. I act.
He's saying what he's saying, but he's really good at the stuff that he's telling you he know how to do. So that's all I'm saying. So I always find a way for networking to take place. But I want to thank you guys for being a part of the show. I truly appreciate it. Vivian, the producer, are we good?
We're right at 8:30.
All right, and we are signing out. I will see you guys next month. We are back to the regular WCEGWood Hollywood of the South, where I'm interviewing someone from the hit reality show Cutting It in the ATL. I look forward to doing that interview. Phew. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks. And we